Hi everyone, it's Stu here from 3B. Sorry for the drought with the videos. Basically, I've had to really concentrate on my business, where my money comes from, and yeah, we all know the reasons why. COVID-19, lots of drama associated with that, and businesses, and many people like me that run businesses have had to make some really tough decisions. Anyway, enough of that for now. Next gen, PS5, Xbox Series X. It's actually been quite an interesting week and continues to be. As I'm recording this, I'm expecting later today at 4 p.m. British summertime, I think that's the right time, to have watch the Xbox Series X game reveals. Now, let's just talk about a little bit about these game reveals. I've not seen it yet quite clearly, and I'll update this video towards the end with an addendum. Oh, God. Anyway, the point of what I'm trying to say is that, are we going to see games that are going to be at launch, or is it kind of going to be what we've seen many times before, where it's games that are in the pipeline? Which is all well and good, but hey, come on, we want to see the games that we're going to get when we get the console, not games that we're going to get 1, 2, 3 years from now. And that seems to be a very common thing. We get to see all these amazing games, and in some cases we don't really see real game footage. It's kind of slightly run in engine. There's a lot of this in-engine stuff, but it's still sort of cinematic rather than actual gameplay. So I hope we see tons of gameplay, tons of games where we're going to get these at or near to the launch of the Xbox Series X. But I'll add that on to the end of this video, and we'll discuss that a bit more once that's come out. The other things that have sort of been mooching around a little bit is we've learned more about the PlayStation 5's DualSense controller, and thankfully the controller is a lot thicker. It's not any heavier, which is a bit of a shame, because I always thought that the DualShock 4 was a bit light. It just felt light. I didn't feel as though I was holding anything. I kind of want at least some weight in the thing that I'm holding. But it's interesting to see what they're saying about the haptics and how they work. And in lots of ways, it's kind of not really anything that massively new. They used that analogy of when you're sort of drawing a bow and you feel that tension. And I'm quite sure some other, maybe Microsoft used it when they were announcing the haptics in their controller a few years ago, whenever it was, I can't remember now. But I'm sure they used a very similar analogy. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure plenty on YouTube tend to like doing that. He's wrong, gotta correct him, he's wrong. Anyway, it's still interesting. I still really love the design of the DualSense 5. Or is it just the DualSense controller? Now I'm confused. Anyway, the PS5 controller, and I'm really hoping that this month we see more from Sony. And talking more of Sony, they really need to come out with something now. I've said this before, and it's getting incredibly frustrating that it's not so much that they're not coming out with something to show us. That's still a thing. It's the fact that they're just not saying a bloody thing at all, we kind of at least give us some hint, some idea, some direction as to when we're likely to see a reveal, some more information. Don't just be all secret, keep it all to yourselves, but little Sony with your PS5. Come on, show us. We need to, we need to see some kind of roadmap of release or reveal or anything like that. Then that gives us something to look forward to. And this is where Microsoft really have kicked Sony in the balls in many respects, is the fact that they've really gone all out, been completely open, and said, yeah, this is it. This is, this is how it works. This is inside. This is the games. These are the games. They've even shown the loading screen of, the launch screen when you first turn the console on, for heaven's sake. What have we got from Sony? A little bit of a controller. Little bit of a controller, and it's got little haptics. Little haptics. Yeah, come on. We want to see some games, the console. Let us see something. Let us get excited. And we get why. I get why. You know, Sony are just like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. We're streets ahead in terms of user base and studios, and no one can touch us. And we all know what comes after Pride. Pride comes after. You know what I mean. I have to figure that one out in my head for a second. Anyway, the point being is that I think Sony are being so incredibly arrogant here. So incredibly arrogant. I love Sony. I love their consoles. I love Microsoft. I use their computers and their consoles too. But at least they're being more open. At least they're giving us something. At least they're feeding our desire for more of this information. Sony, on the other hand, are just like, go away, you pesky consumer wanting to know more stuff about our console. How dare you? It's getting exhausting. And right now, gamers and the whole thing of what everyone is experiencing in this big blue globe that we live on, gamers want something, and Sony can give us just, you know, a little bit of a lift, a little bit of a boost, and I think they would do a real service for us to do that. So anyway, those are my gripes. And that's kind of most of what's going on. As I said, there will be an addendum towards this video, so I won't say goodbye just yet, because there's going to be a bolt-on on what's the reveal about Microsoft's games for the Series X, so that I'm looking forward to that. And I wanted to record this just so I can get the video out there super quick. Just on about games, just very briefly, and this isn't really next gen, it's current gen, but The Last of Us 2 is finally coming out, and we've seen the trailer of the game. It's gone gold, it's coming out, I've pre-ordered again, and it's incredible. It's truly incredible. It's amazing what they've managed to pull out of that PS4 Pro, which is the footage that they're using. And they're showing us real game footage, and it looks incredible. Super excited for that, and for Ghosts of Tsushima, of course. Too many S's there for me, but yeah, super stoked about that. Anyway, let's look at what's coming on with the Xbox Series X games, shall we? Let's go.
A few moments later.
Okay, so the big Xbox Series X gameplay, I'm using fingers a lot, reveal. Initial thoughts, actually pretty disappointing. I was hoping to see an awful lot more gameplay, and they kept on going on about gameplay, and all we really saw was what I thought we would see is sort of in-engine things, which we've know from experience before don't necessarily pan out to be close or the absolute game that you end up seeing. There was an awful lot of cinematics going on. Even though it was kind of still in engine, it was still cinematics. So they're very much blurring the boundary between what is actual gameplay and what was cinematics. I didn't really feel like I was seeing a lot of gameplay, and I think Microsoft were being a bit disingenuous with that. Having said that, there was the usual fare that was being dished out, and some really odd offers, but there were a couple that I was kind of interested in, that kind of piqued my interest a little bit. One was Medium, Scorn I think was another one, and let me sort of scroll down. So Medium, Scorn, and that's about it. That's about it. The ones that really sort of looked very interesting and different. The rest kind of to me just seemed very samey, nothing new. You know, we had Dirt Rally 5. So yeah, it was only really Scorn, which I thought initially was like an Alien. I thought it was like Alien. I thought it was a new version of some sort of Alien, part of the Alien franchise. But no, but it's heavily borrowed from the Geiger. Is it Geiger? Characters, you know, the models for Alien. I'm sure he'll be watching that with a lot of interest. And Medium, that's probably the most, so far for me, the most interesting game. But the telling thing with that is that both Medium, bloody fly, most Medium and Scorn, I believe, are actually coming out on Xbox Game Pass anyway. Now, being that I have a PC, it's, you know, it's not really worth buying an Xbox Series X just for those two games. The others, you know, I've already pre-ordered the Assassin's Creed Super Duper figurine and what's it pack for the PlayStation 4, which will then obviously I'll get the PlayStation 5 version automatically. But there really wasn't a lot there. They were kind of hyping. It's that kind of faux hype that they sort of introduce, where it's kind of, this is awesome, it's so excited, I'm so pumped, and it's like, yeah, kind of not really, are you? You're just doing that because you know your boss is watching. Really bored with Dirt Rally or Dirt 5. Nothing there interested me. The Yakuza Like a Dragon thing, no. Just some very odd things, like the Ascent was just like this sort of, I can't think what they're called, but sort of platformy-ish, top down, sort of semi 3D kind of thing, but yeah, really quite poor. Yeah, there just wasn't enough there. And what is very, very telling is that during the presentation, I was watching it live on YouTube, the amount of noise being created by people saying, you know, dislike, you know, next, or you know, just real shaming Microsoft during this complete stream. And also, if you look at the dislikes, I think the dislikes outweighed the likes after the end of the live stream, so it's hugely telling. Of course, an awful lot of PlayStation fanboys will be watching that, downvoting it anyway, and I'm sure my Xbox fans will be doing much the same to the Sony streams. But it's still very interesting that, you know, there was quite a lot of hate for it, and I think yeah, Microsoft really missed an opportunity here. They shouldn't have used the gameplay thing. They kept on pushing, we're going to see gameplay, and we kind of didn't, and that's going to backfire, I think, a little bit. But needless to say, if you want to watch all the trailers minus all the crap in between, I'll edit it all out and then put it on as a video in its own right, so you can watch all the trailers one by one without all the hoopla and nonsense in between. But yeah, for me, the standouts really were Medium and Scorn. Those were the only ones that you know, really interested me. I'm already getting Assassin's Creed Valhalla anyway, so you know, that's a given. And the rest, not really, sorry, just not really. I just hope Microsoft have a lot more than this. I know, of course, they have probably Forza, and I know they're going to be doing 343 games. They're going to be launching their biggie, of course, but you know, other than that, and those games I'm bored with anyway, so I don't know. I was expecting more. I was expecting to be blown away, and I kind of wasn't. So yeah, disappointed. And the 2 games I do like are on Game Pass anyway, so I'll get them free on with my subscription to Game Pass on my PC. So yeah, very interesting, but for all the wrong reasons. Let me know your thoughts below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up for this video. I know it's probably gone on for far too long. And subscribe, and if you do subscribe, don't forget to click the bell. Again, I'll do a shortened version of all the trailers together, so you can watch them one by one without all the guff in between. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next week. Take care.